Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christine and I am almost out of my biscuits that I normally have on hand for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I wanted to show you my 2-ingredient biscuit recipe. Super simple, super fast. I usually make some up for the week, and like I said, I'm down to the last 2, and I just thought I'd show you how super simple this is, so come on with. Okay, so the first thing we normally do, it is the dry ingredients, and I just usually make up my own big batch of self-rising flour. The trick is I just write the recipe on the back, and it is 4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. So that's what makes up my self-rising flour. You don't have to buy it. You can buy it at the store if you'd like, but I just tend to just make my own. And then I have my organic heavy whipping cream. So I measured it all out. We're just doing a smaller recipe. So 1 cup of the flour, the self-rising flour, and then 3/4 of a cup of the heavy whipping cream. And then I just tend to kind of add it in slowly, mix it as I'm adding it. And I do have my oven preheating to 450. So this is a really hot and fast recipe that I've had several people ask me just to show how I make them, because they end up turning out really light and flaky and layered, like some of those other biscuits you can buy in the store. But if you can just make it yourself with what you have on hand, why not? So there's the 3/4 of a cup of cream, heavy whipping cream. So I'm just gonna get this blended together really well, and then we're gonna get it out onto our board, and then I'm actually gonna take a little bit extra of the flour and add it to the board for us to do some rolling. Okay, here we go. It takes a minute to get it kind of pliable. Get this bowl out of the way. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little bit extra to the board, to my rolling pin, and all you want to do is kind of flatten it out. And it is pretty sticky, so make sure you add enough flour to your rolling pin. And I'm just kind of barely hitting it. And then I'm going to fold it onto itself, like this, and like this, like kind of into thirds, and flip it over. And you do that basically 3 times. Okay, we're gonna fold it again onto itself. Flip it over. I just barely have it floured. It's a pretty dry recipe, so you don't want too much flour. Okay, and then one more fold. Let's see, let's just do it in half onto itself. This is a little bit smaller of a batch than I normally make, so you do normally have a little bit more dough to work with, but I'm just trying to get by before we head out on the road here. So let's roll this out. I am leaving it kind of fat, like I'm not making it as thin as possible or anything, because that's where these layers come into play. All right, so next is I have 2 3/4 inch, so almost like a 3-inch biscuit cutter. And the trick is, I'm just gonna kind of get it ready with some flour, the self-rising flour. The trick is you want to just push it down and straight back up. You don't want to turn it at all. So push it down and straight back up. And then I have my baking sheet ready, and it's greased up. So I'm just setting these on. They do rise, so I just kind of set them a little ways apart. And then I'm going to roll this back out and make a couple extras here. Okay. And then we'll squeeze out one more here. Okay, there we go. And I am going to, I know it's 2-ingredient, but I love to add just a little bit of butter to the top before we toss them in. So that's totally up to you. You can, like I said, you can add salt to the recipe as well, but I'm just kind of giving them just a quick little coat. And this, you know, just helps keep them moist. And this is just for my husband and myself to have on hand. All right, there we go. Let's get them in the oven. I did end up squeezing one more on there with that last little scrap, so let's get them in. And I'm setting the timer for between 12 and 15 minutes, and we're gonna give them a check. Okay, the 12 minutes are up, and I'm just gonna give them a check here. Just depends on your oven, how hot it is. These are looking pretty good. Let me get my flipper and check the bottom. And they look perfectly brown, so I'm just gonna turn this off. And I think we're good. We're good to go. They're looking pretty tasty. I just wanted to show you how easy these come apart. So you can kind of see that they're in layers. And they literally just like basically fall apart. You can still see the steam on this one. And you can actually just put whatever you want on it. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of butter and we'll do a taste test and get this video closed up. So there you go. Super simple, super fast. It actually almost takes longer to heat the oven up than it does to actually make the dough. And as you saw, they literally just like fall apart. The big trick is as you punch down the biscuit cutter, do not, you know, wiggle it back and forth. That's like the big trick of it. So I just wanted to show you up close. And they are just like the flakiest compared to some of those ones that you can get in the store, the Grands or what have you. But these are such people-pleasing biscuits that I had several people ask me, how do you make those? How do you make those? Because they're just so quick and easy. So let's give it a bite. The bottom turned out perfectly brown, right around 12 minutes at the 450. So, who doesn't love a warm little biscuit in the middle of the day? And then I actually just store them in an airtight container. And it does make a little bit of a difference how you fold them. So you can see these ones rose a little bit bigger. So it just depends. And then make sure that you use the self-rising flour. That's the super important part. You can add, like I said, you can add salt. You can add some seasonings and such if you like. I just find that making the plain ones, you can change them up to however you want, whatever's inside. So you can put eggs, you can dip it in spaghetti, you can do all kinds of different things for, like I said, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the self-rising flour, 4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Simple dimple. So thanks for stopping by my little channel. And if you like videos like this that you can use over and over again, hit that like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on Christine's Routines. Take care and God bless. And now I'm gonna finish my warm little biscuit. Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christine, and today I'm almost out of my biscuits, so it is my 2-ingredient recipe. It's everybody's favorite. It is.